morning, g'day, hey, how are you? Tanj here, peak performance specialist for real estate and property professionals, coming to you live on Insta and live on Facebook. Bam! Erin, good morning, my love. I did get your messages yesterday. I will be calling you after this session this morning, or leave voice messages. So to be reaching out to you, don't worry. Hey Lauren, great to have you here. It's Friday, Brooklyn's in the house. Nice to have you here. Good morning, lovely lady. Oh my God, it's Friday. Where the hell is this week going? Where the hell is the year going? I have no idea. It's nice to feel a little bit more warmth in Melbourne, hence kind of less layers, feeling that essence of spring really kicking in. G'day, McHardy, not McHardy, sounds like a pirate. G'day, Joe, great to have you here. How are you? It is Friday, the 20th of September. This Rapid Fire Friday session, it really is just my opportunity to come to you. Greg's in the house. Hello, beautiful man. How are you? How's your week been? Give me 3 words to describe your week. By the way, if you are tuning in, how are you? Type 1 word to let me know how you are. I want to tune into the state of everyone today. So it's Friday the 20th of September. Rapid Fire Friday, if you've never tuned in before, is where I reflect on coaching, not all of them because there's too many, but a lot of the coaching themes for the week. Grab whatever the top themes are and just rapid fire some insight, tips and tools to help you. Maybe you're going through the same thing. So it's essentially free peak performance coaching for you. So can you let me know? Hey Joanne, great to have you here, my love. Type in a word. Let me know. How are you? How are you feeling? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling rested. I'm feeling alive. I'm still training at F45. I've completed 8 weeks of training. We're averaging 6 45-minute workouts a week. And I'm feeling really, really good. All right, let's get started with the content for today. G'day, Katie. Great to have you here too, my love. Just good girl. Okay, it's my little stuffy. All right. Lots and lots of coaching sessions this week. Some of the key themes that I wanted to share with you. Let me see where I'm going to start. Okay, I want to share with you the real estate agent or even a BDM or PM. Consider when you're with your clients, it's really, really important to stand in their shoes and view the world from their perspective. Had some really great coaching sessions this week. One in particular 2 days ago where I was working with a couple of agents and we were talking about, how to handle yourself at open for inspections when the principal's away and they are, taking care of all the vendor and buyer management. And rather than just having normal real estate speak, you must really elicit whether that person is a buyer, a first home buyer, or an investor, and start talking in a language that's really going to suit their needs. And do what I call values elicitation. So when you're talking with a potential client, make sure you elicit what is most important to them. Too many Greg is saying 3 words: relaxed, wise, and looking forward to this morning. Good for you, mate. Hello, Helen. Great to have you here. Too many clients, what I'm seeing, are just going through the motions in the calls, in the listing consultations, and in meeting and greeting people at open for inspections. You really want to hack into who are they, why are they there, what is most important to them, and what are their values? What do they actually want and what's most important, in what order of priority, and stand in the shoes of them. So for example, if you're a property investor and you're at an open for inspection and I'm an agent and I ask, what brings you here? You're looking to buy or invest, straight away I'm going to shift gears into a conversation around the value of the home, how much these homes are increasing in value over 5 to 10 years, what the average rental rate is, and start talking in investor speak rather than bricks and mortar. And for first home buyers, ask them again, what's most important to you in buying your first home? And then most important, and you in order of how they spoke, which means you're building rapport and building connection. Someone that does that extremely well, Jackie Bailey and Steve Bailey are in the house. How are you, beautiful friends from Bailey Real Estate down in Radelaide? So I invite you to try that on today. Stand in the shoes of your clients, stand in their world, and stand in what's most important to them, and elicit their values in order of priority and respond in order of priority. The next piece I want to talk about is a session I had with 2 clients yesterday who were, after a property was on the market for 2 weeks, typically the house, the properties, the area that they look after, they typically get offers within the first week. It's been 2 weeks they haven't had offers because this particular property has a massive retaining wall really close to the back of the house, and people are like, yeah, it's good, but the retaining wall. And so a lot of the questions that people are asking at open for inspections or private inspections for this particular property is they're concerned about the cost of replacing that wall. If you're a real estate agent watching this, please don't be transactional. For every property, especially if it has unique qualities like this massive retaining wall, I don't know, but if I were you, I would get a builder in and I would actually come in and, just privately for me and have a look at, estimate the wall and see how many years it's got left in it, get an estimation and estimate, get an estimation of what the cost of replacing that's likely to be. Not that you want to necessarily give a guarantee to the vendor, to the buyer of, how much it's going to be to replace it and how many years it's got in it. But imagine saying, yeah, we know that this is going to be a concern for many people. Like, talk about the pink elephant in the room. So we know it's a concern for people. White, I invite you to spin doctor it. So the first thing I saw when I looked at photos yesterday of this wall, I was like, wow, okay. So I would start going, okay, to give it more space, you could put external, you could hang outdoor mirrors in and start to create an edible garden on the wall and get some actual use out of the space, and also soften it because it was just big sleepers. And I would say something like, yeah, we actually had a builder come out and assess the quality of the wood. They're estimating it's probably got another 7 to 10 years before we need to start thinking about replacing it. We've also looked at what would the cost of that be. They've estimated about $6,000. So that's kind of what we're seeing. However, here's what I want to share with you about this property. Let's say in 7 years' time, your property has increased by 75%. That's another $465,000, and all you need to spend is another $6,000. 10 years' time to do another few years' time, it's increased by another $200,000. So would you be willing to invest, $10,000 to make, close to $500,000, depending on the value of the home? Don't just get roadblocked by an issue that people are stuck on. Start to think creatively, think long term, think about, like another example yesterday, same clients, they had another property that wasn't moving. It was only on the market for a couple of weeks, but there were no bites. And everyone that's coming into the property, they're saying, it needs a lot of work, and it's listed as, a renovator. Again, don't just get stopped by, yeah, it needs a lot of work, which is what these 2 agents have been saying. Yeah, it needs a lot of work. Actually cost out, what does it need? Yeah, you know what, here's what we reckon it's going to need for it to be really, comfortable and livable to move in, and what people are giving us feedback. Some new some those doors in the kitchen and bathrooms, those cupboard doors, need replacing. We've stacked that up to be around $10,000. This property is doubling in value every 10 years, and the value of this property is X. So in 5 years' time, my friends, you've earned $275,000 on this home. So if it ticks all the boxes as far as location, if it ticks all the boxes as far as the size, the block, the how close it is to amenities, and it's a matter of spending an extra $10,000 now to make it more presentable and livable, and in 5 years' time you've earned another $250,000. Does that seem like a good value proposition? Don't just get roadblocked and stopped. Does that make sense? And for those of you listening that are doing that, let me know how those kind of conversations go for you. Hey, Calmstar, great to have you here. Good morning, Kelly. Thanks for tuning in. PK's in the house. Helen, boom, boom. Hi, Star. And hey, so don't be transactional. Don't just paint by numbers. Don't go through the motions. Really look at the unique selling proposition for every single home, and don't not address the pink elephant in the room if there is something significant that could be a roadblock for people actually making a purchase. And don't let the fact that they need to invest in it to make it better today to move into stop them from doing it. Always remember to articulate the growth of the area, the growth of properties in that space. And the reason I say 5 years to that scenario I was talking about yesterday is because typically homes double in value in 10 years, but this particular suburb doubles its value people move every 5 years. So you can say, you know, most people in this area move every 5 years. So, you know, you buy the house, you spend 10 grand to do it up. In 5 years' time, if you're like most people looking to move, you've made an additional 270,000. Pretty good on investment. There's not many areas you could yield that growth. So, you know, I just think it's crazy not to be articulating the value of properties that you are selling. Sorry, got distracted. There was a call coming through. Okay, makes sense. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm keen to hear, Jackie and Stephen, do you talk about that sort of stuff when you're looking to sell, particularly to investors? Now, I want to share with you briefly a conversation I had with a couple of principals this week. One who was super emotional, feeling super deflated, unappreciated, unvalued, and was really close to throwing the towel in. And when I asked her what the source of it was, she said that she had spent a lot of time with her team, doing one-on-ones, pouring herself into them, adding value, coaching, training, and guiding, and not really getting any thanks. And kind of just walking away going, bloody hell, what am I working for? Like, no one's appreciating what I'm doing. Her and her business partner work really well together. They support each other, but they're not getting any appreciation from the team. Grant Mullen, good morning. Great to have you here. Yes, we certainly do, says Jackie. Nice. That's why you're having great results down there. So, first of all, I want to say, if you're a principal or a leader watching this, I love and appreciate you. It is lonely at the top. No one understands what it's like to hold the responsibility of, you know, managing, paying the break-even figure every 4 weeks and employing people and keeping all the plates spinning, working in the business and on the business. So well done to you to having the courage to be able to stand up and do that on a regular basis. The advice that I gave to this client was I shared the power of the acknowledgement game. Acknowledgement game is a simple process that you can do with your people, with your business partners, with your, you know, husbands, wives, kids, friends. And here's as simple as it is, and it's super effective. You just look at the person in front of you and you say, so what would you like to be acknowledged for today? Now, notice what happens. They'll be like, I don't know, what do you mean? Often we want to be seen and heard and acknowledged, but if someone asks you, what would you like to be acknowledged for today? We don't want to say. But the power of the game of acknowledgement by specifically asking your husband at the end of the week, babe, what would you like to be acknowledged for this week? Your child at the end of a school term, what would you like to be acknowledged for this school term, which ends today? You know, your agents, your property managers, what would you like to be acknowledged for today? What it does is it encourages them to take a look inside and see what is it that they work, maybe the ones, what the problem, issue, challenge that they resolved that no one appreciated, and it gives them an opportunity to reflect. Then they might say, you know, I just want to be acknowledged for the way I handled that tenant that was really not well handled because, you know, there was an issue with their taps. We organised the plumber to go in. The plumber didn't turn up. Long story short, you know, they left work early. They were really irate, but I just spent some quality time with them and got their world and looked after them, and they were happy again. You know, it's what I do in my job, but that was a good one. And then you respond by saying, well, you know, I acknowledge you for handling a tenant that had a really crappy service experience really well, restoring the relationship and taking care of it so there was no negative impact on the client or the business. You don't embellish the acknowledgement, you don't make it fancy, you don't make it about you, but there is something magical about A, stopping to ask people what they want to be acknowledged for, B, sitting with them, take a look, and they say what it is, reflecting it. Now, when I did that with this particular principal, she was like, oh, that actually feels better. And her cup was full. She got what she needed, and she was no longer feeling emotional and unappreciated and not valued. So I invited them to share that exercise with their team and, of course, their partners. And off the back of that, I taught them the 5 languages of love. Are you familiar with that? There's a great book. I should get it. I think I've got it here. I'm here. I'm coming back. The 5 Languages of Love and Appreciation by Dr. Gary Chapman. I've mentioned this many times before, but if this is your first time tuning in, it's really important. G'day, Rick, and g'day, Mick. Great to have you here. The 5 Languages of Love and Appreciation by Dr. Gary Chapman. He's a marriage counselor, spent decades working with husbands and wives that were trying to come together and work together to stay together. Just the fact that there are 5 particular languages that we speak in, and they are, very quickly, acts of service, words of affirmation. That's when we do something nice for each other. Words of affirmation, when I give you feedback, nice and specific and timely. Quality time, I actually spend time with you. Tangible gifts, I give you gifts, small and little things. Or physical touch and affection. Now, obviously in the workplace, that needs to be appropriate, right? Now, you and I have a specific language of love and appreciation. We will speak in this language, and we only receive love and appreciation when we're spoken to in that language. Everything else is nice, but it doesn't penetrate our soul in the sense of making us feel valued. Hey, Ainsley, great to have you here. My language of love and appreciation is acts of service. So if my kids do something for me around the house when I haven't asked for it, I actually feel loved. If there are dishes and stuff laying around in the place, actually, personally, I know it sounds crazy. They think I'm crazy. I can't help it. It's my love language. So you need to know what your language of appreciation and love is. And as a leader, you really need to know your team so you can reverse engineer appreciation and love and expressing your value to them in a way that will connect with them. There is online, if you just Google 5 Languages of Love quiz, there's a free quiz that you can do to ascertain what is your predominant love language, and you can share it with your team, and you can also share it with your kids and your partner. Critical. Most teams are disengaged, and when I do these quizzes around the country and even internationally and find out what the majority of real estate teams' language is words of affirmation. Most people just want to be told thank you. Most people just want to, a specific acknowledgement of whatever they did that day that mattered. And that just fills our cup and makes us feel better, which increases our morale, confidence, self-worth, self-esteem, productivity, and performance. And the good thing is it costs nothing. It costs nothing to say thank you. So check out the quiz, get the book, very, very relevant, and it's a great way to get the best out of your people. All right, power of acknowledgement we've talked about. Oh, okay, so listen, I came up with a promotion for some clients yesterday for Melbourne Cup, a lead generation promotion. Now, I just want to say, first of all, I'm not a fan or a supporter of the Melbourne Cup. I'm actually not a fan or a supporter of horse racing at all. Just my personal opinion. I have no judgment for people that are. However, the country is crazy about it. So I'm really big on not age has been again that they're not as dominant in, and they have been trying things like, they were going to go and do a promotion to say 1% commission, if you list and sell your house with us as a promotion. I'm never a fan of reducing commission. I'm never a fan of devaluing your value, because that's when you educate people that that's actually what you're worth, and you're buying sales. Don't do that. Give more value. So Melbourne Cup is coming up. Why don't you create a promotion that you can share on a DL in print, something on Facebook, Instagram, and even LinkedIn, which is Melbourne Cup on Us. And you just get a $500 voucher to go towards food and drink. And what was the other thing I said yesterday? Oh, and then you create a sweepstakes package where it's got your branding on forms with, your company pens and some colored balloons, and you deliver that to the day. And it's just an opportunity to get to do consultations or appraisals. So have your home appraised with us and potentially have Melbourne Cup on us is a great way to actively engage people, because in Australia, we spend a lot of time having barbecues and picnics and celebrations for Grand Final Day and Melbourne Cup and those sort of things. Not just Melbourne Cup is a good idea, but if you look at the hallmark calendar of events, like, you know, Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Melbourne Cup, Grand Final weekend, which is next weekend. It's a little bit too close to do something, but who wouldn't love to have, you know, $500 of food and drinks and, you know, napkins and some, you know, festivities, and then a little sweepstakes package for them to have fun with their guests that attend. So a little tip there. And then finally, by the way, if you're watching this, hey, Kate, great to have you here. If you're watching this, can you type in live if you're watching live, and if you're watching record? And can you share with me, from what I've been sharing so far, what are you hearing for yourself? Do you like the languages of love and appreciation? Do you like the idea of doing the acknowledgement game? Do you like the idea of putting yourself in the vendor's shoes, the buyer's shoes, or even the investor's shoes? Do you like, this one is an important one. Oh no, I've already said that one. Do you like the idea of making sure before you do a price reduction that you're articulating the value that a small investment would make in the yield and growth of a property in 5 to 10 years? I know it's common sense. I know many of you are probably doing it, but there's many that aren't, and we're just getting stuck with the Achilles heel of a particular property and not creatively articulating the value that that investment would make. Finally, something I'm going to be doing a lot of sharing on in the near future is the power of knowing the difference between the end user of your products and services and your ideal clients. The end users are the vendors, buyers, landlords, and tenants. They're the ones that interact with your products and services. Your ideal client, the people you really want to create strategic relationships with, are people that have big funnels and big tribes, a database of lots of end users. So for example, mortgage brokers, financial advisors, accountants, conveyancers, solicitors, family planners. These people have spent the time to develop their business to have a big database of people that are potentially interested in investing and listing and selling. So especially if you're new to the industry, one of the best things that you can do is go onto Dr. Google and type in mortgage brokers in your area and build a database of these strategic alliances. As I said, mortgage brokers, accountants, financial advisors, conveyancers. Have a database and stay tuned. I'm going to do specific on my Mastery Monday, which is a way that you can create strategic alliances to get incredible amounts of lead generation by adding value to local businesses in your area and creating brand ambassadors. But step one, start to research all of those people and create a database. And then I'm going to share with you something that you can do with it. Oh, good. Greg's going to have a look at the quiz. Great, Greg. Let me know what your love language is. It's really, really simple to do, and it's really quite effective. Josh William. Hey, Josh, me too. He's going to do that too. All right, that's it. I'm going to wrap up. Usually I finish around 23, 25 minutes, so I want to let you go and have a beautiful day. I hope you have an amazing Friday. I hope that you get present to the different making people's life part to make really big decisions. And for those of you in real estate, happy show day tomorrow. And as always, tune in 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time Monday next week for Mindset Mastery Monday. And also always, as I wrap up, in the late great words of Maya Angelou, remember, people will forget what you did, people will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Go make yourself and others feel amazing today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for choosing to spend your time with me. I'm really grateful. Hey, Ange. Hey, Tara. Great to have you here. Thanks for dropping by. Much love. Have an amazing weekend, and look after yourself and those around you. We look forward to speaking soon. Take care. Ciao to our friends on Facebook.